this Black Friday, Cyber Monday is poised to break records. Like, people are shopping a lot. Adobe Analytics estimated that US shoppers will spend like $14.2 billion yesterday, which is over 6% more than the previous year. And the National Retail Federation estimates that US shoppers will spend more than $1 trillion for the first time this year. So it's wild how people are spending a lot of money. The other thing of note is that more people are turning to buy now, pay later plans, right? Which
Yeah.
allows you to, you know, buy now and pay later without incurring the interest rate. Where, usually if you're on like a 1 year or 2 year plan, you just have those monthly installments and you don't have to pay the interest, which is pretty solid. I do that sometimes. Like, I know some people are like, why don't you just pay it for it up front because you don't have to think about it? I'm kind of like, well, why would I pay it front when I don't have to?
Yeah, I think part of the thing though is because I saw a tweet today about
Yeah.
that where somebody was talking about the BNPL, how like that's become like the main way that people are shopping these days.
Uh,
But I mean the stats that he quoted were kind of crazy. He's
yeah.
basically saying that roughly 1 billion was spent on using BNPL models, which is the worst
Wow.
kind of debt. And then so
Wait, what do you mean the worst
95%.
kind of can you say more about that?
The
What do you
worst
mean
kind of
worst
debt
kind
is
of
just
debt?
like, people are not actually paying it off. So you're doing it, yeah, you're doing it great because it's like, "Oh, you're just paying it off." But
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that aren't paying it off,
Ugh.
and the interest rates on that is, like, higher than with credit cards.
Yeah.
So he was saying that 95% of sales volume was financed this time around, which is kind of wild.
That is wild, yeah.
Yeah. And then 67% of that, of those people don't intend to pay within the 30 days that the, buy
Or
now,
what
pay later model works.
or whatever the
Um,
terms are.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So that's going to be a lot of people defaulting or paying the interest for these purchases that they made. So that's kind of like worrying overall, just in
Yeah.
terms of like the economy, because like
Yeah.
that's not the way it's supposed to be,
Yeah,
right?
say it. I'm so glad you brought that up because I
Hmm.
had something else to say here, but that rounds it up really nicely.
Hmm.
Because on that note too, um, US credit scores are worse now.
Hmm.
So that
Yeah.
definitely aligns with what you said. The average score is dropping for the first time in a decade, and it's a decline that we haven't seen since it's the largest decline since the Great Recession. They think it's because of things like high interest rates, inflation, the restart of federal student loan payments. Most people are doing buy now, pay later. More than half of people don't plan on paying it off. It's almost like people are just really tapping into YOLO. They're just like, whatever, I got
Yeah.
one life, just gonna get
Hmm.
what I want.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah,
wild.
I mean, that's kind of crazy because then it's just like, well, that means that credit scores are going to continue going down. But then if you think about it, what's the biggest thing that you need the credit score for, right? It's to buy a house,
To
it's
buy
to
a
get
house,
Yeah.
which is
buy a new
probably
car,
happening
right?
later
Which is,
and later now too.
exactly. So it's like if I'm
Yeah.
not buying a house and I'm not going to be buying a car, then like, what do I need my credit score for? Which is wild to
Yeah.
think about, right? And it's like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, which I think shows a lot about where younger generations are. But obviously, this wasn't broken down in terms of age demographics. But I would assume just because Klarna and like buy now pay later is a new type of service. I doubt that many boomers are using that.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, credit cards, it's a similar deal, right? You get 30 days to pay that off. So I don't necessarily like ragging on like people using buy now pay later because it's like
Sure.
it's just like a credit card. It's just a
Yeah.
different type of service. But what is worrying is that people don't intend to pay it back and like what that then
Yeah.
means for their financial situation going forward.
Oh, yeah.
Another
Absolutely.
another point that you'd brought up was also this whole concept of the shift from buying on the computer to buying on mobile. And I think that symptomatically impacts a lot of this. People are shopping more just
Yeah.
because you can now shop basically more hours of the day if you don't have to be at your computer.
Yeah.
I do a lot of my shopping, like if I'm up really early in the morning and can't
Yeah.
go back to
Mm,
sleep.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll be on my phone. And so I think that also, we're seeing that generationally shift, but the mode of shopping shifting is allowing that shopping to be higher. And then if you're also thinking about the level of information or how much you're digesting when you're shopping on mobile versus a laptop, you're not going to have a lot of stuff next to you to cross check. So it's not to
Yeah.
say that everyone is
No,
shopping recklessly, but I think it's definitely
I mean, it's
empowering
easier
more
than
people
ever,
to shop
right?
more.
yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're
yeah,
just on mobile, you're on Instagram, they give you a particularly good ad and you're just like, "Oh, I'll just, I'll just buy this, really quick." One of the things that also that is funny as you're talking about this is the whole idea of having like this is a desktop purchase versus this is a mobile purchase, right? Where it's like if it's a
mhm,
really big purchase like plane tickets, people are like, "Oh no, this is a desktop purchase. I need to like actually sit there in front of my computer and type out my,
yeah,
credit card." But I'm
yeah,
sure it's gotten way easier with Shopify, like, keeping your card saved and like your login is super easy these days, right? Like all you do is, log in and then boom, boom, it's all signed.
right,
It's way too easy to be
right. Well,
shopping these days.
not even just Shopify though, right? Google
No, no,
Pay, Apple
totally.
Pay,
Hmm.
people having the Amazon app on their phones. I
Hmm.
mean, 5 years ago, right, most people were buying on desktop. This year, it's mostly on mobile, which, to Kushan's point about, like, yeah, there are more available hours in the day to shop,
Hmm.
but it also lends itself very well to impulse shopping,
Yeah.
or even just that it's also an impulse, but, like, even very pain point oriented shopping, right?
Hmm.
You're doing something at home or at work, and you're like, "Oh, I really need some new clogs," right? Like, "I
Hmm.
stepped in the mud, I'm just gonna order them right now." And, like, something like that, you just whip out your phone, do it real quick, like, great, the errand is done. Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
it's so easy to do.
Yeah.
The other layer is the amount of impulse shopping that comes from specific applications. Like I know for myself, Instagram ads are my worst enemy when it comes to impulse shopping because 80% of the things that come out of those ads are not things that I'm actively thinking about. But then I'll get an ad and I'll be like, oh yeah, of course I need what was the most recent thing I bought? It was like Santa and Mrs. Claus. It was a nightlight type thing. Like I don't even need a nightlight, but I was like, oh, this is so cute.
It's
I'm
for your
gonna I'm
future
gonna need this
children,
for,
right?
yeah,
You
like
need
Christmas 2 years
it.
from now. Absolute waste of money.
No,
But hey,
absolutely.
Instagram convinced me that I would be happier with that. So
Yeah, yeah.
Same. I
we're
fall
on
for the
there.
Instagram ads. My one of my favorite examples of this are around, like, August or so, I start getting the Instagram ads for that, reusable stamp that you can use to label your children's clothing.
You're going back to school.
Yeah, going back to school, you're gonna need this, and, like, I do I have one? Yes, I have one. But it's also the kind of thing that you look at it, you're like, "Oh, I can it's $20. I'll just get it.
Mm.
It's fine. It's gonna be useful." It's not that useful.
That's funny. Yeah, one other thing too that I saw that people were saying that one of the biggest reasons why this Black Friday was like one of the highest shopping days ever is that people saved up all the things that they knew they had to buy and
Mm,
waited until it would go on sale. So much of the purchasing that would have happened in like the summer or spring, people just held off until Black Friday in order to try to get deals. But then that also brings up the question of like, were these actually sales? I saw a lot of people complaining about the price fixing that was happening.
mm.
Which I think is another thing that like marketers need to like think about. Like customers have become wise to these types of tactics. And if you're still using them in this day and age, like you're gonna piss off your consumer a lot more than like you would have done like way back in the day. So thinking about like how you can actually sell your product, like do you actually need a real sale? Like is there a way that you can create levels of like your most intense users, giving them a particular sale that is only on email or only on text, versus like putting it all over the internet and then like potentially pissing people off when they realize that you just raised the prices a little bit last month in order to make up for the fact that you were gonna put them on sale for Black Friday.
Yeah, I see that reminds me of a Threads post that I saw, like, the other day where it's like a graphic where it showed, Monday, the price is
Mm,
49.99,
mhm.
Tuesday, 49.99, Black Friday, 49.99, and then underneath, 59.99, and it's crossed out. where it just shows, like, that's actually what it cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say my friend has been really wise to that for Prime Days, where
Mhm.
whenever a Prime Day is coming up, he'll look at the exact thing on Amazon about a week or two before,
Mhm.
and then just analyze all of the sales to see what actually is a sale on the original item or what just looks like a sale because of the way they do the price anchoring and
Mhm.
the visualization of all of that on Prime Day.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's super important. I mean, Amazon, like I was saying, about like the Shopify topic where it's like they're, slowly creeping in on Amazon owning, Black Friday. Like the fact that Amazon doesn't really seem to care very much about like the consumer, where it's like they have, this like price gouging that has been happening. You have when, they're selling dupes, the fact that, Amazon is starting to learn which products people buy the most so that they can create their own white label products and bring them in house and so that they get that money instead. Like I think more and more people are kind of getting pissed off at Amazon for all these things that have been going on. Whereas like they don't feel like they're necessarily saving money or like now it's like mostly a convenience thing, like but then people are starting to realize, like, do I actually need that to arrive the next day, or can I just wait, a couple days that it would take, buying it from somewhere else? Or should I just go to the store and, like, buy it instead of, what you were talking about earlier, Amanda, just as a convenience thing?
Yeah, but I wonder though, like, I feel like it's not so much anti-consumer from Amazon, it's more of just like a Amazon being so ruthlessly focused on making money
Mm,
that where I would argue they are for the consumer, because that makes it sound like, "Oh, Amazon does wonderful things for people." I don't even mean it like that. But what I mean is, like, there are some things that I consistently buy on Amazon because they cost so much less, and this is top of mind too because I just bought some. I bought some acetaminophen on Amazon this morning for $4, and that same bottle would have cost me at least $12 at a Walgreens. And also just how,
yeah.
like, the returns are easy, like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no excuse to not
Mhm,
do
mhm,
it,
mhm.
right? They're
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
easy to do, but I feel like it's more of like the ruthlessly focused on growth and making money.
Yeah, I think there's a difference for me
Mhm.
between
Mhm.
Walgreens versus like a small brand that's like trying to
Yeah.
sell
Yeah, that's true.
direct. So that's where kind of like the
Yeah.
difference is for me. And that's where it seems like Shopify is starting to like make up the difference. Because it's like at least for me and like my thinking, it's like I go, most of the smaller brands, small businesses, I'm expecting to buy them through like Shopify and not necessarily like Amazon. And I wonder if that's like a thing where it's like,
Wonder.
Shopify doesn't really get involved in like having their like white label or like, making sure that they're the ones warehousing the product to like make sure that it gets to you faster. That's the one thing I would say that like Amazon has like, well, pretty much every company beat, right? Is like the
Yeah.
logistics of like now they're starting to keep some products in warehouses close by so that like it gets to you faster. So that's where it's like that upside for sure, I think is like
Yeah.
amazing of Amazon.
The returns is definitely the upside for me, especially when it comes to products where if I'm going to their website and I don't see just a lot of either credibility about the product, number one, or if their return policy seems fishy or anything like that, buying a similar product or similar brand on Amazon, having that brand protection around returns, I think is just super, super important. But that being said, I feel like a lot of brands now are getting around that, partnering with companies like Loop, where they make returns even easier.
Hmm.
And that is actually something that has started to get into my consumer psyche as well. Is like, hey, if a brand that I shop with that is on Shopify or somewhere else is actually partnering with a good logistics platform or anything good for returns back, it makes me much more likely to consider purchasing knowing that it's an option at the end of the road.
Yeah, definitely.